How much money are the Denver Broncos going to save by releasing safety Justin Simmons? Welcome into our Denver Sports Daily for March 7th. Let's go.
Taking you through your morning headlines, it's Denver Sports Daily with Rachel V. Hill.
Today was a sad thing to wake up to as the Broncos released safety Justin Simmons, which will save them $14.5 million against the cap. Broncos country took this a little hard. I'm not going to lie. They did not respond nicely in the comments. A lot of people obviously wishing Justin Simmons well in his future endeavors. Even I had to say this is an extremely sad day for Broncos country, but Justin Simmons being such a good guy that he is, I'm actually excited for him because he can finally hopefully go to a good team that will make the playoffs and possibly win a Super Bowl. The Eagles are in discussions, not saying the two teams are in discussions, but a lot of people are linking Justin Simmons to the Philadelphia Eagles, which I think would be a good spot for him to go to. Obviously, the Eagles have had a lot of success and they could possibly win another Super Bowl here in the next couple of seasons. So I think it will be interesting to see where Justin Simmons goes. The Broncos did release a statement that they put out on social media saying Justin will always be a Bronco and we thank him for the outstanding manner in which he represented our organization on and off of the field. Now, Justin Simmons played here for quite a few years, and he had some seriously incredible stats as well. 604 tackles, 118 games, 64 passes defended, 30 interceptions, the most in the NFL, 19 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits, 5 forced fumbles, 4.5 sacks, 4 All-Pro seasons, 3 Team Walter Payton Man of the Year awards, 3 fumble recoveries, 2 Pro Bowls, and 1 touchdown. Justin Simmons was the everything that you wanted a Denver Bronco to be. That was exactly who he was. He was great on and off the field. As a media member, he was always respectful and he always gave true, honest answers. And we know with Russell Wilson and some of the, BS that we almost heard him spew out at times, it was so refreshing every single time that Justin Simmons took the podium because you knew you were going to get an authentic human being. Now, lots of players are obviously reacting to Justin moving on, Patrick Surtain being one of them. He going, this one hurts, man. Nick Benito, what the heck did I just wake up to? I'll keep that a little PG. He says Denver legend. And then Justin Simmons' wife, Taryn, actually goes on to say, goes from crying to crying harder as the Denver Broncos put out a video on Justin Simmons and all that they meant to him. So definitely an emotional day here in Broncos country as the Broncos will, in fact, move on from Justin Simmons. And Andrew Mason will be joining me on Coffee Break. And we're going to kind of get into the why didn't the Broncos trade Justin Simmons, whether you're looking at now or you're looking a couple of weeks back or a couple months back, obviously, during the season, and where Justin is being linked to right now. I mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles, but there are a few other team names out there. So plenty to dive into there as well. Come hang out with us at 12 p.m. Now, the Broncos did inform defensive lineman Jonathan Harris that they aren't tendering him as a restricted free agent per sources. Harris played in all 17 games last season. He started 5 and now hits the open market at age 27. The rebuild is coming, everybody. Get ready. The next year could be a little bit of a struggle, but if you believe in Sean Payton, then hopefully you can see a playoff Broncos team in the next 2 to 3 years. Tell me if you think that's a stretch in the comments. There were some wild marks that have been going on social media about Russell Wilson last year. He threw 27% of his passes from behind the line of scrimmage. That is number 1 out of the 509 quarterbacks since 2005. Yes, that is actually kind of insane when you think about that stat. He threw 62% of his passes within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. That's the second highest out of the 509 QBs. Sean Payton clearly had zero confidence in Wilson's intermediate passing ability as the 2023 Broncos had the least amount of intermediate passing yards of any offense since 2005. Wilson threw just 26% of his passes between 5 and 15 yards downfield. That was number 1 and the lowest out of the 509 QB since 2005. And it was nothing but record-breaking rates of underneath passes and the occasional moonball downfield. So 509 QBs in the sample with at least 300 attempts in a season. Those are some baffling stats right there. And we knew that there was hardly any, middle ground balls in that sense. It was either short pass to left, right, straight downfield, or we got the incredible pass that everybody knew Russell Wilson for. You hardly saw anything in between. And seeing how many quarterbacks were sampled in this and where Wilson ranked, it makes you really interested to see what other team is going to look at Russell Wilson and say, I want to sign you and have you be my quarterback. And I do, at the very end of the show, have a lead on where he could possibly land next. So definitely stick around for that. Now, the Avs and the Red Wings. Holy smoke, last night was a crazy show for the Avs. First of all, Detroit gets on the board first. I'm thinking, okay, here we go. We need a Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar to step up. Nathan MacKinnon gets one in the back of the net. He extends his point streak to 31. He had 4 points on the night. That's also the same for Mikko Rantanen. And then get ready for this. Cale Makar gets his first career hat trick, second hat trick by a defenseman in Avalanche history. Absolutely insane. He was such a delight at the end of the game. He was obviously the first star of the night for the Avalanche. He comes out. They end up telling him that it hasn't happened since like 1999. And you can just see the smile, and like he was so excited, but also he was just happy that the team essentially got the win. It was a really cool moment. So congratulations to Cale on such a successful night. And hopefully that success continues. He was obviously on a little bit of a cold streak for a while. So for him to be able to put 3 in the back of the net last night, absolutely insane. The NHL trade deadline is just about 24 hours away, and the Colorado Avalanche have already made 2 big moves. They shocked everybody yesterday when I tell you that it went from, oh, the Avs are making moves to, oh, the Avs are making some move. The first one is an area that they have been trying to solve since Nazem Kadri left town after winning the Stanley Cup in 2022. That's the issue of the second line center. This has been a constant struggle for the Colorado Avalanche, where it feels like they were kind of just dropping in different pieces, trying to see what they can make work. Well, the Avs are acquiring Casey Middlestat from the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for defenseman Bo Byram. This is the trade that really caught a lot of people's attention. It is a 1-for-1 trade. The Malta report saying that it's, like I said, player for player, no picks involved at all. This is the main trade from yesterday. Meanwhile, the Avs also unloaded disappointing center Ryan Johansson and a 2025 first-round pick in exchange for Philadelphia Flyers defenseman Sean Walker. Walker, who's in his 6th year in the NHL, has 6 goals and 16 assists for Philly this season. He's averaging nearly 20 minutes of ice per game, and Philadelphia immediately put Johansson on the waivers, showing that they didn't want him either. This comes as no surprise. We were all kind of waiting to see what was going to happen with Johansson. It was just like the relationship and the chemistry, things weren't working out. We have Devon Toews, who had called out some teammates, not individually, but overall said that there were some that were buying into the system and some that were not. And a lot of people put 2 and 2 together. Ryan Johansson was one of those teammates that they had essentially called out. Now they are going to create an additional almost $3 million in LTI salary space. So the club now has $4 million, almost $5 million remaining, which is really, really good news, essentially. Now, the Nuggets, they are taking on the Boston Celtics tonight down there at Ball Arena. It should be a good game. You can tune into that one. That is going to be an 8 p.m. tip. Definitely plenty of good stuff. Celtics obviously are a very, very good team. 48-13 so far in the season. The Nuggets, 42-20. I think that this game is going to be intense. I think you need to absolutely grab some popcorn, sit down, and get ready for one that's going to take all 60 minutes, or all 45 minutes, I guess I should say, essentially, of this game. So definitely tune into this one. It possibly might even go into overtime, just like the game on Tuesday did. Now, another thing going on in the NBA, Minnesota Timberwolves all-star Karl Anthony Towns has been diagnosed with a torn meniscus in his left knee and is out indefinitely. The sources have told The Athletic this is a major, major loss for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, they're not exactly sure when he could possibly come out. I'm not expecting him to come back really at all for the rest of the season. A torn meniscus is obviously never anything good. And despite obviously the Timberwolves being a really quality team right now, you obviously just want to see everybody be healthy. So our best wishes go out to Karl Anthony Towns on that front. And then last one for you here on this Thursday. Why is Jim Harbaugh back in the NFL? And the answer is truthfully a simple one. The new hired Chargers coach told US Today, "It's the challenge. I want to win the Lombardi Trophy." Harbaugh won his first career championships just 2 months ago as they led Michigan to a college football playoff title in January. His brother John Harbaugh has obviously won a Super Bowl. That was back in 2013 with the Ravens. So Jim Harbaugh says, "I want to win a Lombardi Trophy." And just like all of us, we all kind of want to. So on that front, what a Thursday. Holy smokes, the Justin Simmons news. I hope you're doing all right, Broncos country. I know this one felt like a gut punch. Unfortunately, I don't think that this is going to be the last gut punch, but I did tease and I said that there is a team out there that is looking at Russell Wilson. And it's funny because I actually had brought up this team and got told that they were not looking for a veteran quarterback, but that is in fact the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are looking at possibly signing Russell Wilson. And they are planning to meet with the former Broncos QB just before the start of free agency, per sources. Wilson has interest in joining the Steelers, so it will be interesting, essentially, to see what happens. All right, I want to read some of your guys' comments. I always love doing this every single day. It's definitely always interesting. George, shaking my head. I know everybody is frustrated with George Paton. Don't get me wrong. I am also there with you, but I don't think George Paton is going to be around with the Denver Broncos much longer. So everybody just buckle up. We got to get through the draft, and then we will possibly see what happens when it comes to George Paton. Rachel, can you believe everything the Avs did since yesterday's show? There was so much going on with the Colorado Avalanche yesterday. Like I said, all of a sudden it was like, okay, the Avs are making moves. And it was like, oh, the Avs are really making some moves. Casey Middlestat, I think, is going to be a phenomenal addition. I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll see them tomorrow night on Friday, just to see kind of how that chemistry can get rolling. But it does feel like it is cup or bust now for this Colorado Avalanche team, which of course we can all get behind. Let's see. Love you, Justin. Wish you the best on the rest of your career. Bronco for life. Salary cap is whack. Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a hard one. George did us wrong. Yep. Okay, what's a hat trick? Not into hockey. Tom, I'm glad you asked, because there's obviously a lot of people that aren't super diehard hockey fans. A hat trick is essentially when a player is able to put 3 pucks in the back of the net, essentially. So 3 goals, and then everybody will throw their hat onto the ice and celebrate it, and they end up donating all of those hats, etc. So essentially, that's what a hat trick is. It's a really, really awesome feat to be able to accomplish in a game. 3 goals, essentially. So Cale Makar able to get that. We love to see it. Let's see. Why didn't they try to get something for Simmons in a trade instead of just a release? Come hang out with Andrew Mason and I at 12 p.m. We're going to be diving into this question specifically because so many people are asking this, but it essentially has to do with the cap. Andrew Mason will dive really deep into it. He's going to have all of the numbers. It's going to be a really great conversation. So definitely come hang out with us, 12 p.m. Mountain Time. Essentially, we're going to dive into everything that has to do with Justin Simmons, what the cap is looking like for the Denver Broncos, who else we expect to be released by the Denver Broncos. The gut punches are not over. It's going to be a few more possibly days/weeks that we get to kind of see how Sean Payton is going to devise this new roster for the Broncos. Let's see. We'll do one more. Let's see. George may not go anywhere. He is being the fall guy for the whole organization and now fall guy for Payne. He's not as guilty as you want him to be. I think that this is interesting, Miranda. I definitely appreciate the comment, but I think he is being the fall guy, but I also think that they are kind of seeing all of the trends and what George Payton has put this Broncos organization through. If Bronco fans are seeing it, that means that ownership is seeing. That means Sean Payton is seeing it. And yes, Sean Payton is leading the way now for this Denver Broncos team, okay? Do not get it wrong. George Payton is not in charge. It is Sean Payton's way or bust. So you either get behind what he's going to do or you are going to be moved on from. Now, do I think George Payton is behind what Sean Payton's going to do? Absolutely. I think he's going to be like, yep, Sean, you got it, Sean. Great job, Sean. All of those things. But I do think that the Broncos are just kind of doing a sense of, you know what, everything that has not worked out for this team, we just need to move on and have a clean slate. Like I said, the rebuild is coming. Broncos country can be frustrated. I can be frustrated because we thought the rebuild should have happened 6 years ago. And look at where we could possibly be now. But instead, they just tried to pick and play different people. And it's been frustrating all around. But the rebuild is officially here. Buckle up, Broncos country. It's going to be a ton of gut punches, I think, for the next couple of days. So with that being said, I love hanging out with you. Come hang out with Andrew Mason and I at 12 p.m. And we will see you guys back here for another episode of Denver Sports Daily at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful Thursday, everybody. Get back to work. Bye.